A question from all the guys like me who are insecure when they're sitting in a dance audience. The guys' tights. What's going on there?
I did not get cast in the first shows, and I was like devastated. Like, this is funny now, but at the time I was so sad. I'm a bit dramatic, but I was so sad, and I was like crying in the bathroom, showering, but it's a dorm, so it's a communal shower. So I'm like sobbing, scream sobbing, and it's like, oh my God, it was so, and like I could hear the door open and people come in and then like shut the door, because it was like this girl's just crying alone in her bathroom, but her bathroom is shared with like 30 women. It was just like, I had no shame.
Welcome again, brothers and sisters, into Awake the Ache. This is episode 3. I have mentioned plenty of times before that I'm the most fortunate man in the world to be sitting next to the most beautiful woman in the world. Again, for those of you who aren't watching this but are just listening to this, you're going to have to trust me. Today, we have the privilege of being joined by the second most beautiful woman in the world. She is also related to us, so that explains some of it. But our guest today is Kaila Feldpausch, our sister, mine by blood, Kate's by marriage. So we're excited to have all of you here today. Kaila, can you just explain where you're at currently and what you are up to this evening?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kaila, and I live in San Francisco, California. So I'm currently in my apartment. But this evening, Joel and I's mom, Kate's mother-in-law, is visiting us. So this evening we are doing a Groupon wine tasting.
Gosh.
So
that's Awake the Ache for all you listeners. Good wine, a good deal. Kate's a big fan of good deals. So
I am, yes, and California too. So
yeah. So the reason that we are lucky enough to be joined by Kaila is she is a professional ballerina. Now, a lot of women start their childhood off with gymnastics or ballet in some way. A lot of men start their childhood off with ballet, but Kaila has been gifted enough and certainly persevering enough to not just keep dancing to the childhood, but take it to adulthood. So Kaila, you had the experience. Mine was at the Wharton Center, actually, where I saw Savion Glover dancing and was like, how is he doing that with his feet? So as a little girl, something about ballet drew you to it, and you were joined by, I'm sure, tons of other girls. What is that in a little girl's heart that's like, this could be pretty cool to do?
I don't know. I think that I was put in it because I was a psycho child. I had all of the energy, and someone told my mom that it would kill off energy. Like, it would give her an hour of a day that she wouldn't have to hang out with me because I was exhausting. And so she signed me up like randomly halfway through the year.
Oh, you didn't even get to join at the beginning of the year with friends?
No, I was like that weird new girl.
Oh, totally weird.
I had no friends. I had glasses on and I had to take them off when we turned, and I ran into everything. I'm so blind. I still can't see. So I remember being young and getting put into it and just loving. Ballet is a lot about coordination and music and the molding of the two, and it was just like it was like a mind puzzle to me. I think it was a good thing for me to be preoccupied with when I was young. It was very hard. And then I also just I think most performers have like a level of vanity to it. I did like being in the spotlight, and I loved performing, and kind of that what drew me to it as well. But yeah, I think I just loved moving to music. I loved dancing, and I liked trying to figure out the puzzle. Ballet's kind of difficult. There's a lot going on. So
definitely. We've actually had our second episode was with a musician. Our next episode will be with a musician. But you, at this stage in your career, not only have you brought hip hop and jazz and all these things to life and the power of dance in that way, but you are now professionally taking music that hardly anyone ever listens to, classical, like some of the greatest composers of all time. You are making it relevant. What about that music provides a perfect backdrop to the things that you guys do with your bodies, and why does all of a sudden that music become perfect? Yesterday, I was literally humming the Sugar Plum Fairy song. How does
dancing?
Yeah, and dancing. How does dance make music like that come alive? How do you do it?
Well, I think that some of the best ballet music, like the Sugar Plum music or anything by Tchaikovsky that was written, those composers were writing it with the choreographers. So they both have the same idea in mind. So that is so good because that was their intention of that. But there's a famous choreographer, George Balanchine, and he did a lot of stuff with Stravinsky, and it's called neoclassical, which means it was like in the 1900s. And his famous quote is, see the music, hear the dance. Like, you should be good enough at dancing that you can hear through your movement, they can hear what the music is saying, and it makes the music look like it's dancing. So dope. I think it's like this idea of like your movement is so well matched with what you're hearing, and that can be interpreted in 100 different ways, or as many, everyone has a different interpretation of music, but is your interpretation, how well can you explain it to someone else? How well can you get your perception of music across to someone else? And so I think that comes with a talent of choreographers. I don't know if I necessarily have that talent, but when a choreographer comes in or a petter comes in to teach you something, it's their job to kind of show you how to bring alive the music in a very specific way. And it's been already perfected by what choreography they've chosen to do that with, if that makes sense.
Dang.
Yeah. That actually brings an interesting thought to mind. So Kate
has choreographed many family dance routines.
That is actually true. My family, my cousins and I had a dance to Barbie Girl, choreographed, performed. It was spectacular. Sure. Yes. No, so the thought that I had, I enjoy art a lot, and the kind of art that I do is painting and drawing, but the art that I do is something that I give, and it's something external. But your art that you do in dancing is something that is, you are the artwork, you are the beauty that people are drawn to. How do you feel with an audience looking at you in that way?
I think I don't know. I think it puts a lot of pressure on you. I think that sometimes makes dance a bit of I think it is, we speak about it in the dance community as sometimes it makes it a bit more difficult because you can't separate yourself from the dance. When someone maybe criticizes it or compliments it or critiques it, it is your body,
personal.
It's you. So it's very closely related to your identity. And I think that's very tricky. But when people do love the show and they do come up to you afterwards, it is like the nicest. It's such a fulfilling moment because they're just complimenting you as like a person because you try to be very vulnerable on stage. That's one of the goals. So it can be the best feeling and also a dark feeling. It really depends.
Yeah. Well, at what stage in your life were you like, you know what, I'm going to pull the trigger and try this career where everyone stares at you for sometimes long minutes on end? Like literally just you.
I think that I was kind of late. I mean, Joel and I grew up I didn't really see, we got to do so much as kids, but I didn't really see ballet dancers. We didn't grow up in a big city with a ballet company that it was a profession or something that you went to work for and got a paycheck for. So I didn't really see it as like a concrete job until probably quite later in my life. I went away to ballet school in high school, and that was the first time that I saw adults coming and going to work, and their work was ballet. So I remember my first semester in college. I went to college for ballet, which is kind of this rare thing it's a different segue, but my first semester, I did not get cast in the first shows, and I was like devastated. Like, this is funny now, but at the time I was so sad. I'm a bit dramatic, but I was so sad, and I was like crying in the bathroom, showering, but it's a dorm, so it's a communal shower. So I'm like sobbing, sobbing, and it's like, oh my God, it was so, and like I could hear the door open and people come in and then like shut the door, because it was like this girl's just crying alone in her bathroom, but her bathroom is shared with like 30 women. It was just like, I had no shame. But I just remember being devastated and that was the first time that I was like, I was taking classes and stuff, but I wasn't in rehearsals. And so to have that taken away and kind of had more of a idea of like, oh, I really do want to do this. Having it not there makes me realize how much I do like it. And so then I looked at college and my time there as preparation directly for a professional career. So that was kind of the turning point. Yeah. So I was 18. I was a little older.
That's beautiful. I just experienced in counseling recently this discussion about fail cycles and how it's required to fail at some points in order to realize what is on the horizon. And yours happened as a freshman in college, which is about as vulnerable of a place as you can get. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. Is it difficult in this industry? I think it was Theodore Roosevelt who said that comparison is the thief of joy. Everyone in the audience just sees the final product and the beauty. Give us a peek behind the scenes of battling this constant comparison. And I'm sure politics are involved, because politics are involved in every career anywhere. But there aren't very many industries where there's such a disconnect between the audience, what the audience sees, and what you experience. Give us a glimpse of what goes on in the industry.
I think it's something that this generation of dancers are trying to break that mold, the mold of there being a disconnect. But I do think that there is like ballet, part of the allure to ballet was the mystere of ballet. And so I think that something to make ballet, it's supposed to look easy. And so to make it look easy, it's so much harder. We can't grunt or groan or like call a timeout or like walk off stage and try something again. So I think that like to have a level of perfection, the behind the scenes just gets a lot more stressful. For ballet, there's just there's one way to do it. I mean, there's little different ways, nuances, but there's a way to look like a dancer and a way to sculpt yourself as a dancer and be expressive or artistic. And so that can just be really hard growing up and having, a different body type or a different way of expressing yourself or a different artistry, and not fitting into the mold or kind of fitting into the mold or seeing other girls fit into the mold before you fit into the mold. And it's just a lot of fighting with self-esteem and just hoping to stay, I think always staying with it for the right reasons. And ballet is very difficult. So just wanting to do it because you love it and not for other reasons, because it's not really, something that hard isn't really worth it. But it can just get stressful behind the scenes. It can be a lot of pressure to look a certain way and to perform a certain way, to just kind of be the best professional as an employee like anyone else is, but also to learn choreography the fastest and to fit in the best, but also if you get a solo to stand out and to just be really professional and to not show nerves on stage or to perform really well, be versatile. There's just a lot of demands in the career these days. So
pressure for sure.
Keep you on your toes.
Oh, ballet pun. Nice. Yeah. At what stage growing up were you kind of rudely awakened to that, of like, oh, it's not just for fun, but actually people are comparing themselves to me or putting a lot of pressure on me that I'm just here to have a good time.
I think I got pretty far in ballet. There's I had a certain body type and I have certain feet and I look a certain way. I think that helped me in a lot of ways, which might sound weird for non-dancers, but
that's the only reason I can say I've gotten as far as I have.
Yeah.
My feet and my looks. Yeah. My body type. Really.
But I think that I went away to a big ballet school, and I say like I got in on like sheer stupidity of not knowing that I I don't know, like you just are like, oh, I'm in this level, so I look like everyone else here. And I remember being like 16, and I was just kind of like coasting. I don't think I'd like really clicked yet, and I was like messing something up at the bar, and I kept in ballet school, like if you mess up, we have to start over. One person messes up, and it kind of turns you again, puts you on like a mindset you don't want to mess up, because then all 15 of you have to start again. So I messed up, and we all had to do it again. And my teacher like stopped the music, and he just like ripped me a new one and was just like, do you think you're better than them? Do you think that this work ethic is the same as other people? Do you think that like this is going to get you anywhere? Like in what way are you measuring yourself? Because it's not the way that we're measuring you, because it's not good. Like and you cannot cry. So you're just like, you're like, hold it in.
What?
You can't cry in front of them, obviously.
Yeah, no, the shower. Yeah, we've heard.
Yeah, the shower. Yeah. But that was like the first time that I thought that not getting feedback meant that I was doing well, but it was more of like getting feedback meant that they could see you were working and they wanted to work with you. And that was like the first time that they were like, yeah, we're not giving you feedback because like we're not seeing it like connect in your brain yet.
Wow.
Like, you're not getting what we're telling you. So like we're not going to push you any farther. Like get up on this level, and then we'll help you out. So that was rough. That was that was a scab.
That one hasn't healed yet.
So I have to ask, how many times have you wanted to throw in the towel on ballet?
Oh my gosh. Our parents would probably say like a couple times a week when I was in high school. Like I would call screaming at them. I had some mean teachers, but I have only wanted to be done. I think it's kind of been, weighing the pros and cons of the stress of the job, or the stress of auditioning, or the stress of not making a lot of money, and kind of weighing that against what else I could do. I think like 3 times, I would say, like I like heavily kind of stepped back and considered like, okay, I'm going to give myself till here, or like I'm going to start kind of looking at something else. But yeah, maybe I'd say about 3 or 4 times that I like seriously was like, okay, we need to maybe readjust my perception or readjust how I'm approaching this, because it's not sustainable. And I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. Just to give our listeners and viewers an idea, can you just by naming the place, track your career starting from middle school? Whenever I got to pick you up with that, I got peanut M&Ms at the front desk. That like shady studio in East Lansing.
Yes, I started at this tiny East Lansing studio. I loved
Studio de Dance, so super French or Spanish.
Dance was the first one.
Oh yeah, I'm talking the OG, the peanut M&Ms place.
Yes, oh my God. So that was the first place I went, and that's a Cicchetti method. So there's different ballet methods, but Cicchetti is like really strict. You do the same class every day, which obviously builds great dancers. But when you're 6, you're like, I don't care. I want to do something else.
Bored already. Yeah.
I remember Friday coming around and me being like, we're going to do this again. We did it the last 4 days, like really upset. So I was there for 2 years, and then I switched to ASIF dance studio. So Mark Taylor School of Dance. And I was there for a while, and that's the place that, Mark Kaila took my parents aside and was like, Kaila could do this if she wanted to. So he helped me get into summer intensives, which is kind of like summer camp or summer school for ballet dancers. So I started going there away to summer camp. I went to my first one in Philadelphia when I was 11.
Non-Cicchetti method at this point.
Not Cicchetti, no. So this would be like Russian. And then I went away. So then I was there from like 8 to like 12 or 13, I want to say. And then I started commuting to the Detroit area in Michigan, and it was about an hour and a half drive one way, and I was going to this big school in Michigan, or in Rochester School of Dance.
Yeah, where we live now. Pretty funny.
Yes, and I was there for 2 years, and it was a much bigger school, a lot different training. It was great, and I loved it. And they kind of prepared you if you wanted to go away to a pre-professional program. So then when I was 16, I auditioned for pre-professional programs, and I ended up choosing to go to the Miami City Ballet School, which is where I went for my senior year of high school. And I decided to stay in high school ballet programs. There's, you could do boarding school or school separate from high school, or a lot of people drop out. There's all these different things, but I stayed in high school and then went to ballet afterwards. And I was in that ballet school for 2 years, and then I went away to Indiana University and I went to their ballet program. I was there for 2.5 years, and then I got a job with Ballet Idaho. I moved to Boise for half of a season to supplement, which means you like sub a contract. So a girl was injured and I went in and subbed the rest of her contract. And then after that, I got a job with St. Louis Ballet, and I danced for St. Louis Ballet for 4 years. And then I decided I wanted to go freelance, which is when you're kind of like a free agent. It's kind of in sports terms, you take shorter contracts and are kind of like your own agent rather than signing to one company and staying there. So then I moved to New York City and I freelanced with a couple companies in New York. And then I would also freelance. I'd go up to the East Coast and freelance in the Berkshires and Massachusetts. And then I got a job with Smuin Contemporary Ballet, which is where I am now. And I joined this company here in San Francisco in October. So I've been here for 4 months.
What a ride.
I had no idea.
I know.
Oh
Not even your sister-in-law. Actually, Kate still hasn't seen you dance.
It's a pity.
Yeah, that's messed up.
We are taking a trip out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, you guys will have to come.
Yeah, so a little plug for Smuin
Yeah.
Contemporary Ballet. So, tell us a little bit about what's going on over there.
Oh, Michael Smuin was the director of San Francisco Ballet, and about 26 years ago, he has sadly since passed, but he left and created his own company. It's called Contemporary Ballet because at the time his choreography was very contemporary and was kind of doing all these new things. And it's kind of this wonderful thing where he began a pickup company and then it bloomed into this really successful company. So we do mixed rep, which means it's only 16 people, 8 women, 8 men. And we do none of the classical ballet. So no Sleeping Beauties or Nutcrackers. It's all smaller cast. And mixed rep means like 3 ballets in a night, each of them being between like 10 to 40 minutes. And it kind of gets put together. So you see 3 different things. And yeah, it's like kind of a mix of Michael Smuin's choreography and then up and coming choreographers or choreographers that have kind of cemented themselves in the contemporary ballet world for like the last 10 to 20 years.
Dang.
It's
that's really fun. A little change of pace for sure.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah. Getting
to do new stuff.
A question from all the guys like me who are insecure when they're sitting in a dance audience. The guys' tights. What's going on there? They have to wear. They're
wearing tights.
Okay, and are they wearing anything under the tights?
Oh yes, men wear dance belts.
Dance belts.
Dance belts are like.
There's a Christmas gift idea for you, ma'am.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're like thong. Like, what do you wear when you're a football player?
Oh, a jockstrap.
Jockstrap.
Yeah.
Like a thong jockstrap, but it's soft. It's not like a cup.
Okay. Yeah.
And some will wear 2. It's just like it holds it all. You don't want things moving around. You want it tight to the body. You know.
Definitely.
Like a swimmer.
Right.
That makes sense. It's really. I think it's really fascinating that the dance world does a really cool job of displaying the complementarity between the sexes, because the guys, at least when I walk out of a dance show, I'm always trying to do the guys' moves because they're very powerful. Their hops are insane. And in the partner things, usually it's the dude throwing the woman. Yeah. So what's it like to have a good partner and what's it like to have a bad partner?
Having a good partner is amazing. You know, you feel very secure. The rule is that it's always the guy's fault, but you never know.
Oh, I don't like that rule.
That can be, that's kind of the rule you learn growing up, which is kind of a funny, like, summer intensive thing. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, but that's basically because they're the one throwing you up, so they need to be the ones catching you as you come down.
Naturally.
So yeah, a good partner is someone who can sense where your weight is and always put you on your leg. Always knows if you're going to do more turns or left turns. They just can foresee what you're going to be doing, which is a talent. I mean, you can definitely teach good partnering, but some guys have like a really good knack for it. It's just like a very natural ability that they can sense weight and shifting and what they need to do to complement them. And a bad partner is just like maybe a step behind or the same step as you, or maybe kind of gets rattled quickly. So when you're finally a professional, everyone's a good partner. I think maybe as you become pickier for what kind of partner you want or what's a good partner for you. But yeah, all my partners they know what they're doing.
Good. And do you get an opportunity to just go as an audience member? And what is that ache for dance like for you as just an observer? Do you still get that?
I'm a big bun head. I love going to watch ballet.
What? A bun head?
A bun head. Like your bun. It's like when you're like really obsessed with ballet.
Oh, nice.
Never heard that term.
I want to be a bun head.
Yeah, bun head. I love going to watch ballet. In New York, I got to go a lot. I haven't gotten to go much here. I need to go see other companies. But I love going to see other people perform. It's so fun. It's so inspiring. It kind of gives you a new boost in your own work. And
are you able to just watch and enjoy it, or are you critiquing?
I think both. I think I'm saying like, oh, I like that or I don't like that. But overall, I'm appreciating their hard work. I think you can say like, okay, that was amazing. Maybe it wasn't my cup of tea, but like that was amazing. You can definitely. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's just such good dancers these days, and every company it's a pretty competitive world. So everyone's on their A game. So I'm kind of, just really enjoying it. And it's fun to see. I think you're just kind of going to see different people's interpretations of ballets and their parts and stuff. So it's enjoyable. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you can still enjoy it. Do you understand why all of us dress up when we go to the ballet?
I like to dress up too.
Yeah. What is that? It's like our ache for the beauty of ballet calls us to an ache for beauty in the mirror as well. It's like, I want to look fly when I go watch this spectacular art.
Yeah, I think it's like a reverence of sorts.
Yeah. It sounds like as audience members, people should appreciate not just the beauty, but the hard work.
Yeah.
Like when we're watching, we probably just take it all at face value of, wow, this is incredible. But if we thought a little bit deeper as the amount of work that goes into it, we could appreciate dancers a little bit more.
For sure. But I also think if you just come to the theater and you just think it's amazing, like we did our job, as long as we, made you feel a good emotion, you had a good reaction. It's not, I don't do this to make sure everyone knows I'm working hard. If that were the reason, I would have chosen a different job. I think we do it so that it is so fulfilling to have someone come up to you and say that they did enjoy it. So
cool.
You just hope as long as they're fulfilled in some way, we've done as good as we can.
Absolutely. Kaila, you're an artist and you likely feel things deeply, as we heard from your shower experience. When is a moment, maybe in nature, that you have just been moved to the point of tears by something beautiful?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. My God.
Well, you live in a beautiful place.
I do.
True.
I do.
But you've seen some incredible ballets. Maybe there was a ballet number that
there is
floored you.
I think I got to do. What was it? Well, there's this famous ballet called Serenade by George Balanchine, and it begins and they kind of set it like moonlight, and I've seen it a lot. I've done it a lot. And when the curtain comes up, there's like I should know this, but there's a lot of women on stage and they're all standing with the same arm up as if they're like blocking the moonlight. And it's just like a very eerie thing. And I think that always the audience is always it's a very still moment, but there's also a lot of clapping. It's just a very reverent moment. I think I saw that last year. I don't know. I see it a lot, and that's very beautiful. Just kind of like that stillness. I recently went to Muir Woods here, which have the biggest trees, the redwoods, and that was just gorgeous. I mean, I loved going to school in Indiana, but it is very flat. So since then, getting to live in Boise and getting to live in San Francisco, just seeing mountains and being near the ocean, I think it's just, I get so excited about getting to see the beauty of the places that surround us. Not saying that cornfields aren't beautiful, but we grew up in rural Michigan. I've seen a lot of cornfields.
True that. Yes, you have.
We're excited for a trip to come see one of your shows and
Yes,
see
you'll
the
have to
beauty
come
in San Francisco.
Yeah, if our listeners or watchers had to YouTube a ballet, that would give them a glimpse of just the beauty that I've probably taken it for granted way too many times. I've seen Nutcracker double digits and probably didn't appreciate what I was watching. But if there's something they could look up, I know that actually there was a company you danced with that did a rendition of, it was a song based off of the Song of Songs. That was a really cool dance.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't remember what that song was called, but yeah, if they had to YouTube a company.
We're doing a ballet right now to the Symphony of Psalms, which is...
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, well, I should know this. I think it's Stravinsky. It's very like, I was going to sing, but this is a podcast.
No, sing.
Horrified.
Sing.
It's like,
That's awesome.
it's very epic.
Sweet.
Yeah. So,
Man, maybe we'll have to come out and watch the epic dance.
yeah, you'll have to come.
The epic
but,
show.
Yeah. I mean, anything. I mean, you can go on YouTube and look up Smurin Ballet and see there's a shameless plug there, but.
Can we see you?
I don't know if I'm in their videos yet.
Oh, those.
Yeah, the marketing is I don't know what's going. I'm not behind the scenes, so.
Yes.
Maybe I will be in a little bit, but.
Yeah.
Actually, I should go look, but. Oh my gosh! I mean, I love the Royal Ballet. It's in London, and they're kind of, I think, one of like the premier ballet companies, and they do an amazing range of classical and mixed rep and new work. So I always say it's okay if you dislike ballet. There's so much out there that there is a kind that you will like. So that's a great company that has just
What's the name of the company?
Range. The Royal Ballet.
The Royal Ballet. Gotcha. Okay.
Royal Ballet.
Sweet. Wow. Thank you. And
Yes.
happy early birthday, March 17th. So
Thank you so much. Thank you.
you're welcome. Maybe when this episode airs, you'll be just days away.
Oh my gosh, like a little birthday gift.
Yeah.
To everyone
You
else.
were a gift to us today.
Thank you,
Oh,
Kaila.
Yeah, you were giving us
my
a birthday
God.
gift for your birthday.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so no one usually asks me to talk about this, so I'm flattered.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So thanks for coming on. Do you have any It's the Ache moments from dance?
I was a ballerina way back when I was 5 or so, and I have no memories from that experience. Actually, one came to mind.
Look at that.
So, you know the song Locomotion? We had a
no.
dance routine to that one. I always thought the song was about lotion, but I definitely had some fond memories doing my little ballerina move and tiptoeing my way.
That's adorable.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think Joel should have been put into dance. I think
Yeah.
Joel, yeah.
It certainly would have solved my hips problem that I
Yeah.
have. These
You got
tight
some
hips.
rhythm.
I got some. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got some rhythm.
You do.
I have some hops.
Yeah, you can still go. We just have to get you maybe a bit more limber, or maybe a little
Definitely.
more flexible, but you can still go take some dance classes.
Amen. It wasn't that long ago that I bought a pair of tap shoes and danced at New York.
I would like to say this story. I bought you a pair of tap shoes for your birthday.
I still have them.
Yes. And we went to Broadway Dance Center,
That's right.
BDC in New York, which is a very famous place to go take open class. And we took like an open beginner level of tap taught by, oh my gosh, I forget them, the brothers. And they just tore us apart the whole time.
Oh, that's
did.
awesome.
They were both entertained and embarrassed for us. So
Yes, they were.
Oh, that
had a
sounds
great time.
wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. But
Yeah.
I finally got to live out my Savion Glover obsession. Yeah.
I know.
Well, thank you again. We love you. And we're so happy
you
for you. And yeah, proud of you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Kaila.
Congrats on your podcast.
Thank you.
For having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Awake the Ache with
Joel.
and Kate.
If you're watching this episode on YouTube, make sure you click the like button, click the subscribe button, and click the bell so that you are notified when new Awaken Catholic media, videos, and material is released.
Also, it'd be super helpful if you could leave a review for the podcast on iTunes. At Awaken Catholic, we're committed to bringing souls to truth through beauty. This show and all the shows on Awaken Catholic are only possible because of amazing people like you.
You can become a part of what makes this all possible by making a tax-deductible donation for as little as the cost of a cup of coffee a week.
To join the Awaken Nation, visit awakencatholic.org/join.